As you might have seen in the video 2 weeks ago, something is coming, and today is going to be the day that it's going to be released. It is a little book that is called Computer Music Techniques, and let me tell you what this is. So for the last 2.5 years, I've been making videos on this YouTube channel about sound design for electronic music. So I've been talking about all kinds of different aspects related to sound design and sampling, mainly using Ableton Live. And in all those videos, I typically show you my process and I give you some tips or techniques that I use, and I explain those techniques of how you can create your own sounds. And I thought this was a good moment to kind of look back at all those videos and summarize them in a way that you can consume it in a different way than by looking at all those videos. And that led me to writing this little book called Computer Music Techniques. You can see it as a summary of a lot of the videos that I've made over these last 2.5 years. The goal basically of this book, as well as the videos that I've been making, is to inspire you, to kind of show you my process, demystify everything, and show you how you can make your own sounds and with those sounds your own music. If you're interested in doing sound design and sampling and creating your own electronic music, regardless of what tool you use, if you use Ableton Live or Logic or Bitwig or a hardware sampler like an Akai MPC, it doesn't really matter. This is really about techniques that are applicable to any kind of tool that you use. So if you're interested in that and you have seen some of my videos and you like that kind of style, then this might be something that is for you. So let's dive a little bit into, and I'll show you a little bit of how it looks like. So what I did is I divided it into 6 categories. It's inspiration, sampling, sound design, synthesis, composition, and workflow. And for each of these topics, I wrote down 12 different techniques that I have used over the years. And for each technique, there's a short description of like what it means. And this is not the kind of book that you start necessarily reading from start to finish, but it's something you can pick up if you feel you're stuck or you're too much set in your ways, or you don't know how to start your next project or your next album. This is something you can pick up and just almost randomly just open up at some page and just start reading what you can do. So to make it a bit more concrete, starting with the first technique that is under inspiration. This is actually one that I recently made a video about. I will link it up here or there. And it's called Limit Your Sampling Time to 1 second. So I will just read this one. I'll also put it on the screen. It is easy to fall into the trap of unlimited sampling time. In any DAW or modern sampler, you can easily load in multiple songs and have your pick on what part of a song to sample. Instead, try to do what the old samplers like the Akai MPC 60 or EMU SP1200 were limited in, and impose a limitation to a couple of seconds. See what you can make with that. If 1 second is too little to start out with, try 20 seconds and then gradually lower that amount to 10, 5, 2, and eventually 1 second. It's possible. So this is the kind of technique that I've used. This is something I like to do to kind of challenge myself. I made a video about it, and this is kind of what you can expect from this book, where it's very shortly described, very concrete, very practical, and it's not limited to Ableton Live. So you can use any tool that you want so that it's applicable for anyone that wants to make music. Let's go to the table of contents and look through some of the topics. So as you can see here under inspiration, the first one, limit your sampling time to 1 second, I just talked about. We also have minimalism, 8 sounds is enough. Make a beat in 10 minutes. That was also a recent video. I have multiple of those videos where I do this, where I set a timer and force myself to make music in a very short amount of time. So that's a great way to get yourself inspired. If we look at sampling, sample one note. That was also a recent video with the bass note from Soundgarden. Record everyday objects around you. I've done several videos on that as well. Deep sampling of an instrument, make your own sample pack. That's a great way to kind of craft your own sound. If you look at sound design, there's a bunch of them. For instance, sample an instrument if you can't play it. Was it last year? I rented a practice space for a band, and they had a drum kit there, and I sampled that drum kit to create my own sort of hybrid acoustic drum kit in Ableton by hitting the drum kit with different sticks and mallets and stuff. There's a section on synthesis. Some of the stuff is quite basic, but it's also like, for instance, use of noise. I use noise all the time when I create synth patches, but it's about textures, modulation, combining synthesis with sampling. That's a video I did a while back, and also recently on Bo Beats channel I was a guest where I talked about this. I will link that to that video as well. Then there's composition. This is basically how to get from that one initial loop that you have into a fully arranged song, and what kind of techniques do I use to go from a loop to a song. And of course there's some AI there. Workflow, this is more about not necessarily setup, but just things you can do to make it easier for you to get started and to continue. So it's about shortcuts and make your own presets, templates, but also like have a portable setup so you can be in different spaces, literally, using free sample resources, stuff like that. And then some final words of encouragement. So that's basically the book I wrote, Computer Music Techniques. If you're interested, I will link to Gumroad in the description. It is a free download or a pay as you want. Go check it out, browse through it and see what works for you and use that, and for the rest you can leave. With that said, I'm going to change my schedule a little bit. I'm thinking to actually get rid of the schedule. Now I'm uploading once a week a video on Monday, and I'm thinking to let that go and just upload a bit more freely when I want and how I want. So I will still be making videos, but in a bit more of a free way. I will link to the book in the description. Thanks for watching. Keep making music, go check out the book, and I see you in the next one.